$1.3 billion cocoa syndicated loan and demands the Agric Minister appears before the Finance Committee to provide details of the allocation.
I've written a letter to the chairman of the Finance Committee requesting that he should invite the minister responsible for cocoa to appear before Parliament, take us through the process and tell us why. We want to know where the money is.
Also in this edition, tens of small-scale miners turned away at mining license vetting session today. We have details as the Interministerial Committee begins vetting over 800 small-scale mining licenses as part of a roadmap to lifting the ban.
And in business, Bank of Ghana puts the number of banks that have met the minimum capital requirement at 22. So what happens to the rest? I'll get you details in 30 minutes.
Veteran Ghanaian coach J.E. Sapon calls for continuity for all members of the current members of the Black Maidens team for onward progression to princesses and black queens.
That's coming up later in sport. And students in 46 colleges of education demand that government addresses concerns of their lecturers immediately as the colleges face an imminent shutdown due to the 21-day nationwide strike by the lecturers.
We don't care whatever the situation is. We are saying that government should listen to the plight of our tutors or else to advise ourselves.
This is the worst strike I've ever seen as a student in this country. So it's very, very sad.
Tonight we ask, will the colleges be shut down? We'll hear from the student, SETAC and government on this matter.
We have details of these and many more after the break.
Trusted, innovative financial services, providing affiliation, support and solutions. Customer-oriented, superior services. Your success, our passion. 10 good years of loyalty, service with integrity, protective of our Ghanaian brand. 10 years of excellence, 10 years of loyalty. Your success, our passion. Oh yeah, your success, our passion.
Your success, our passion.
Hello, I say, how did now? Vodafone normal 10 megabyte free data. It will call Smart Rubiadron. Share.
Hello, have you heard that Vodafone is giving 10 megabyte free data for every minute you talk? You just dial 50-50.
Yeah, hello? Aha! Right now, with the Vodafone people, just they call plenty. Second of us, you talk 1 minute, you go get 10 megabytes. You talk 2 minutes, you go get 20 megabytes. 3 minutes.
Call Vodafone or any network and get 10 megabytes of free data every minute you talk. It's simple. Talk to browse. The more you talk, the more data you get. Dial 50-50 to subscribe. Talk more, browse more. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Let me explain in here. I'm a mistake where I use cement for all your projects. That's why Gassem, with 50 years experience, wants to develop various greater. What's your various jobs? What was super rapid 32.5 hours? On know you're suitable for your dream house. At your screening now. Or that Duchi. Nazi or plastering now. Oh man, a perfect finish. Gassem, what was super strong 42.5 hours? Or your best suited for slabs, pavement blocks, Nasezitra blocks, Nankasa, Watch pumping. For the biggest construction works like roads, bridges, on your high-rise buildings, contractor and use Gassem Extra 42.5N. Missing it be there. Choose Gassem always.
Gassem, the nation builder.
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800 222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
There's nothing better than shopping for your home, especially when you get unbeatable deals under one roof at Game. At Game, we've got everything from TVs to laptops, appliances to power tools, kitchenware to groceries, and so much more. And for 4 days only, we're having a grand opening sale with up to 50% off on selected deals to celebrate our new stores in West Hills Mall, Achimota Retail Center, and Accra Mall. Deals valid from 29 November to 2nd December. Don't miss out. Game, simply unbeatable.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
And you're welcome to Newsnight. My name is Gifty Ando Apia.
My name is Komla Adom. And as always, you can send in your comments and thoughts on stories you will be hearing on our WhatsApp line 0244 340 437. Gifty, where do you live?
Adenta and Spintex.
And so I'm sure this story we're about to do now does not affect you.
I won't.
Okay. Now, for those who live around Kaswa, this might be of interest to you because we are learning that there is a disaster in waiting around Kaswa because the EPA says the ridge, which is on that particular stretch, could collapse with lives of scores of people residing near the Kaswa toll booth at risk. We know that Black Stars captain Asamajan is among many who have developed properties at the foot of the ridge. The assessment conducted today said collapse of the ridge could also cut off Kaswa from Accra as the mud would cover the entire road. Ransford Sechi is director of the Intersectorial Mining Division at the Environmental Protection Agency.
In 2014, we raised this issue and it got to the national security. Some actions were taken. However, the situation has deteriorated, as we all saw when we walk along the ridge. There are serious erosion which is causing cracks into the rocks and into the earth, some as deep as over 20-30 meters. And unfortunately for us as country, we have residents or people having property just downstream. The fear is that if something is not done, something meaning stabilization of the ridge is not done, there is a potential of this whole thing collapsing to destroy all the properties down this ridge and also to block the entire western corridor.
So you had the Ransford Sechi, he's the director of the Intersectorial Mining Division at the EPA. He's joined us on the line now for more. Mr. Sechi, thank you very much for your time this evening. This report...
Thank you, and thank you for having me and us all on the program.
Well, this report, or the details in this report, was known as of 2014. What exactly has been done since then?
Actually, maybe let me say that the assessment was done by EPA together with other institutions that are in the group that we went. So let's acknowledge all of them. That includes Minerals Commission. It includes Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. It includes Water Resources Commission, Ghana Chamber of Mines, Forestry Commission, Forestry Services Division, which they couldn't participate today. So this group actually in 2014, by directions from the heads of these institutions, asked the technical group to assess that because we felt that constantly as we drive along the road in rainy season, you have this impact erosion blocking the road. So that was done in 2014, 2015. And that, as we indicated earlier, got to the attention of national security, and some actions were taken. One, there was an illegal stone winning activity along the ridge, which, as we went there today with some of your men, saw that illegal activity has actually stopped. Okay, and second, there was continuous encroachment to the base of the ridge. There were even churches that were built very, very close, actually to the bottom of the ridge. which today when we went, the church, I don't want to mention any church in it, but there's a church which is there, has relocated little further from the ridge. Okay? But what is worrying, which your men and ladies who went there, all of us saw, was that there is a serious threat from erosion of the soft material, the soft material that is covering that area is being eroded continuously. And there are places where you can even observe physically that chunk of earth, I'm just putting it literally,
has been moved.
Actually isolated.
Okay.
Potential that if that mass, God forbid, if it rains heavily any other day and it moves, is going to cover those downstream what we saw.
So if I have a property in this neighborhood, what should I do?
You see, I don't want to us to sound as if we are in a panic situation. But to me, as I told the media personnel that join us, fortunately for us, we have actually almost entering the dry season, okay? God willing, we have a couple of months ahead of us, okay? And from now to then, there is the need for us to take certain actions. Like I said, 2014, 15, the rate of erosion was not as we saw. We've been monitoring over the period since then. Somebody asked, what have we done? We've been monitoring. The question is that this is part of the process to get people aware that maybe if you are living down there, you haven't taken the trouble to go up that ridge to see what is happening. And those who are even on top of the ridge. So to me, it's a call for all of us to re-examine the situation and know what intervention. There are engineering interventions that can be put in place, but it needs cooperation of all.
Mr. Sechi, you have the expertise. You've been there. You've seen it. But for many of the people who live in and around the Kasoa enclave, they may be worried listening to us right now. What should they do specifically? Is it time for them to pack out?
Please, no. I think we have to restrict the issue to the area where we are talking about. If you talk of Kasoa enclave as if it is from maybe the West Hill Mall up to Kasoa, no. This is what, you know, when you off the West Hill Mall and you are descending, as you encounter that on your right, you see the pool water, let me say that reservoir, the Wager Dam, up to the toll, just beyond the toll booth, and the top is where we are talking about. So let us not portray the picture Kasoa enclave. No, it is the ridge that spans from the beginning of the dam to where the toll booth on top. You can see that there are houses on top of that entire ridge. And then when you come down, you see a lot of houses, a lot of churches. There are a couple of schools there. There are a couple of bars. Everything is there. It's a whole community. The question is that if you look up there, maybe for what we do, okay, we could take that risk of walking along that the ridge for us to see what is happening. What we're trying to do now is that by the direction from the heads of this institution is that let us create the necessary awareness, let us put in the necessary discussions to enable us to understand what is actually happening. Okay, because it's really, you see, really dangerous. Like I said, we've been there about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. But the situation is becoming very dangerous. And fortunately for us, we went to the assembly, the South Assembly engineers. They also were part of the team with the media. And everybody acknowledges it's mind-boggling.
Mr. Ransford, we know that some of the people who own properties along this ridge or on top of the ridge are acquiring the properties from individuals. People are selling these parcels of land to them. Is there a plan from your end to move in to get the people selling the lands on the ridge to stop?
My brother, that's what we're talking about. The thing is that we have to engage. We did engage the traditional authorities as well, and we have to continuously engage the traditional authorities who maybe have ownership to the land, we as Environmental Protection Agency and representing the group which I earlier mentioned, okay, yes, we acknowledge that, yes, people may be selling the land. But the question is that I cannot say today that every land that is being sold there should stop. But I think that it is the part of the awareness creation to say that, look, if there is a situation like this and somebody offers you a land, there is no point for you to even part with money, because you cannot actually endanger yourself by acquiring that property or that piece of land to put up that. And as we went there, maybe some of the colleagues or your colleagues will tell you that there are people who are putting in some unengineered interventions, okay, which is even as a increasing or actually changing the entire scope of the danger that may exist as we see. Okay, so people who are actually putting in those engineering, not engineering, I mean on engineering processes or practices along the ridge have to stop. And we have scheduled a couple of visits to be able to talk to some of these people who today we saw actually doing things unprofessionally. So it is part of the process to engage everybody.
All right. We're grateful, Mr. Ransford Sechi. He's the director of the Intersectoral Mining Division at the Environmental Protection Agency. And Gifty, we are learning that this particular area is an earthquake-prone area as well. Right. But people still move in there and build properties on the ridge. How do
it makes sense what he's saying, that if you know that this problem exists, you don't even go ahead to buy a property or buy a land and when it's sold to you. Certainly. Anyway, it looks like we still have a lot more issues to deal with land. It's not just about the erosion that's going to bring down people's communities. Because some small-scale miners who were at the veteran session for their mining licenses today were turned away because they did not have tax identification numbers. There were others who faked their TIN numbers. They were also turned away because government has just begun a process to vet all licenses as they look towards lifting the ban on small-scale mining. Well, will this affect the timeline on the lifting of the ban? Charles Bisu is secretary to the Interministerial Committee on Small-Scale Mining. He joins us on the line. Mr. Bisu, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thanking you.
Is this really going to affect the timeline you've given yourself to lift the ban?
What is going to affect the timelines?
The fact that some of the small-scale miners who came today were turned away. About 20 of them were told because they did not have tax identification numbers. Others had faked the TIN.
Okay. That is not factual. They were not turned away and asked never to come back. They were asked to actually rectify that problem. The vetting process takes about 3 stages. Phase 1 was for them to bring the documentation forward. That is the 1,350 small-scale licenses that were actually directed by the president to investigate. Out of the 1,350, 871 came forward. When they came in, we gave them a checklist of the things that we have to, they need to bring to us. Some of them included TIN, that's the tax identification numbers. Subsequent to that, we went to the concessions to ascertain if a certain concession somewhere corresponds with that license, and that is the second phase of the vetting. The third phase was for you to come forward so that whatever we ascertained on the concession, we have that discussion with you, and then later on, introduce the reforms that are coming in, i.e. the new ID card system, which actually encompasses your TIN, your GPS code and all that, and then the biometric data that we are going to take. Also, the insurance policy that they are mandated to have. So all these things are coming in. None of them were turned away. They were told to just go and ensure that they get tax identification number.
Yeah, so what it means is that they did not get their TIN numbers. So they will have to go back and work it out and come back to you.
Basically, that's what it is. But if you say they were turned away, then it means that they were never to come back. No, they were asked to just go and
if you're turned away, it means that you're going, your documents do not qualify for the assessment, and so you go back. But the question was whether or not it will affect the timeline. for the lifting up of the ban?
Timelines, no, that would not affect the timeline. We're not going to do a fourth phase of the vetting. When we sit down with them and whatever transpires that you have to actually do the rectification. Once we do that, it is not going to affect what we're doing because we're doing things in pari passu. For example, tracking devices are being put on excavators as we speak. We also have NAPCO graduates who would be actually supervising or monitoring the concessions with drones now undergoing training at Esuchari. So these things will not stop the date that the ban will be lifted.
Okay, so we're looking at the ban being lifted before Christmas.
That lies within the bosom of the president, but then lifting of the ban is contained within what we're doing. That is the roadmap.
Mr. Bisu, thank you very much for your time this evening here on Newsnight. Charles Bisu is Secretary to the Interministerial Committee on the Small-Scale Mining.
And Gifty, we know that the Small Scale Miners Association have raised concerns about what they call the delay in government's decision to lift the ban on their activities. They say it's throwing them out of business. And
because some of them have genuine documents that allows them to go about their business.
Absolutely, and they say because of the ban now, illegal miners have taken advantage and are going in the forests and doing a lot of mining which is unregulated. We are joined on the telephone now by the president of the Small Scale Miners Association, Kojo Pepra. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on Newsnight. First of all, we just heard there today some of your members did not have tins as part of a documentation required for the vetting. Why is that?
Hello,
Mr. Pepra.
Can you come again? I didn't really hear what you said.
Grateful you could join us on Newsnight today. I'm asking some of your members today at the vetting session were turned away apparently because they did not have tins.
First of all, what is happening? We small-scale miners don't really understand the concept of this vetting. As a matter of fact, in the Mining Act, corporate small-scale miners can go for license. And with the Mining Act, it says that after 2 years of operation or after 2 years in engaging in mining, that is the only time that you are mandated to pay tax. If somebody has acquired a license and the person has not even worked for a month or a year, and you ask the person for a TIN number, then it's a misplaced priority. We don't know why our members will be turned out because they don't have TIN numbers.
Is that not the reason why you as leadership should take your members through some of these documentation or requirements at the vetting process? Honestly
speaking, they didn't tell us what they wanted at the vetting. This is not the first time small-scale miners, we've gone to the Interministerial Committee against illegal mining to tender our documents. The first time that we went there was almost a month ago. And they never asked about a TIN number or anything of those sorts. So we don't understand why, after we've tendered in our license, which is the most important thing in mining.
Well, Mr. Pepra, what government is saying is the most important thing for them now is TIN. The TIN number, and there's been a nationwide announcement. Have you not heard about it?
But my sister, the most important thing is about the law. It's about what the Constitution says. The Constitution says, and it states clearly in the Mining Act, as follows: you can only pay tax after you've worked for 2 years. So if the person has not been able to elapse that right or that advantage, I don't understand why they should be turned away. Because what the law says is after 2 years, you can pay tax.
What the explanation we're getting is that they can come back. They need to rectify the mistakes that they have on their document, and then they can come back and register and go through the vetting process.
But you think is the right way to go? Because if this is what you want, and you don't tell us prior to the vetting, and somebody will travel all the way from northern region, come to Accra, and you turn the person away because of things, then they are not doing as good. Laws are made for the people. So even if the person has not been able to attain or gotten the thing, at least they should give the person some time to also make sure the person would acquire the thing they are asking for. So turning them away the way, we are not happy about it.
All right, finally, Mr. Pepa, before I let you go, what are you going to do as leadership of the association?
We've spoken with our members that were turned away, and I think tomorrow we are going to meet with them, and then we will meet with the Interministerial Committee against illegal mining, and we see the way forward.
We're grateful. Mr. Kwejo Peprahe is president of a Small Scale Miners Association. We're grateful he could join us. Gifty, you can send in your comments and thoughts on the stories you've heard so far right here on News 90244340. 437.
Certainly, we'll be sharing your thoughts with the rest of the world. But away from mining, let's get to Parliament now, because the minority there is accusing the Information Minister, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, of peddling falsehood when he claimed there has been a reduction in the number of workers at the presidency. At the media briefing in Parliament, the North Tong MP Okudzeto Ablakwa maintained that documents available to the House show the figure has gone up despite government's position.
We'll hear from him shortly, but first, here's Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah addressing a press conference.
After several requests for them to offer proof to back this claim, they referred to the 2019 budget as the source of their claim and proceeded further to claim that any such action will amount to a burden on the public purse. There are three things that government wishes to share with you on this matter. One, that claim is false. Two, the makers of the claim have either confused Office of Government Machinery with Office of the President, or are only up to political mischief. And three, contrary to the claim, staff numbers at the Office of the President and even the Office of Government Machinery itself are rather going through a programmed reduction, not an increase.
So you heard the Information Minister, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, responding to some of the concerns raised by the minority in Parliament. But Mr. Ablakwa, who was the first to raise this issue on the floor of Parliament, disagrees with the minister's position, and here's why.
The claim that 1,614 is surely a reduction because of the 2018 ceiling of 1,697 is rather erroneous. This is because the 2017 ceiling, as contained at page 177 of the 2017 budget statement, is 953. The report of 998 to Parliament confirms that this ceiling was exceeded by 45. If this track record is anything to go by, then one cannot be certain that there has, in actual terms, been a reduction from 2018 to 2019. As you do know, we do not have the 2018 report yet. It will come next year. Who knows if that ceiling of 1,697 will also be exceeded, like the 2017 ceiling of 953 was exceeded. Our point is that 998 was roundly condemned by Ghanaians, and therefore we do not expect government to treat the people's concerns with contempt by further increasing this unacceptable figure. We have also noted another falsehood peddled by the Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, when he said, quote, "The claim of an increase is because the minority is comparing Office of the President 998 in 2018, which was part of the 1697 ceiling, with the entire Office of Government Machinery ceiling for 2019 of 1,614, unquote. This claim, again, is totally false. The 998 figure cannot belong to 2018. The 2018 report will be presented to Parliament next year. The 998 figure can only belong to 2017, which had a ceiling of 953 and not 1,697. The minister, therefore, either goofed badly or he set out to deliberately mislead Ghanaians. Then there is a claim by the minister that we in the minority do not know the difference between the Office of the President and the Office of Government Machinery. Another clear case of the minister trying to obfuscate the issues.
So you have the minority member of parliament, the member of parliament for North Tong, Okudzeto Ablakwa there. Komla, he is not stopping here. He has some other plans.
Yes, he says the minority are going to form a coalition of civil society groups, and they're going to galvanize resources, champion this cause, and even bring it to the House before the House amends the budgets or approves the budgets that was read by the minister for 2019. So they are not stopping now. They're going to form a coalition of civil society groups that are going to push and pile pressure for this to be reduced in terms of the numbers.
And certainly we'll be following this story as it develops. You're still listening to News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM, a dozen affiliates across the country. Well, we'll be doing business next with George Rafi, but also later on in Flipside, we'll tell you fresh after winning Dancehall Artist of the Year at this year's All Africa Music Awards. Afrima will be hearing from Stonebwoy Fun.
I want you to sing a bit of your favorite song from Stonebwoy.
Please, I can't sing because of my voice is slow.
You can't do what?
I can't sing because of my voice is slow.
Help me out. What's the spelling for Stonebwoy?
If it be book, I will write it for you. I'm scared.
Kamla, can you sing for me?
I can sing. I can't sing.
You can't sing
You know,
because your voice is low. Okay. And let's do some business now. Are you singing?
I'm trying to sing.
You're singing already because your voice is high.
Maybe.
But Kamla's voice is low. We can handle that.
Okay, all right. After that, I'll sing the song. Well, coming up in business, Bank of Ghana puts the number of banks that have met the minimum capital requirement at 22. And government commits 100 million cedis in financing small businesses in the country. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. And Mark Auto Parts, distributors of Isuzu pickups and Chevy cars.
The MTN Heroes of Change celebrates people who are making a positive change in their communities. That's why I nominated Naomi Aku Amwa. For the past 16 years, she's cared for the homeless and the orphans in her community. You can imagine my excitement when she eventually won.
If you know anyone positively impacting your community, then nominate them in the MTN Heroes of Change. Your hero could win 100,000 CDs. Just fill an online nomination form at heroes.mtn.com.gh or pick up a form at any MTN service center near you. Deadline for nomination is 18 January 2019. See press and online for details or contact 0554 222 222 for further inquiries.
Nominate that hero who is brightening lives and let's celebrate them.
MTN Heroes of Change. Be the change you wish to see.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
We give you nothing but the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
There's nothing better than shopping for your home, especially when you get unbeatable deals under one roof at Game. At Game, we've got everything from TVs to laptops, appliances to power tools, kitchenware to groceries, and so much more. And for 4 days only, we're having a grand opening sale with up to 50% off on selected deals to celebrate our new stores in West Hills Mall, Achimota Retail Center, and Accra Mall. Deals valid from 29 November to 2nd December. Don't miss out. Game, simply unbeatable.
The new Ghana card is more than just a way to identify yourself. It opens you up to a world of benefits.
The sooner you register for your Ghana card, the closer you are to accessing a new world of secure transactions and services. The requirements to register are as follows:
a genuine birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport and personal information such as the name of your parents or legal guardians, residential address, and your digital address code.
If you don't have a birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport, don't worry. One relative or two members of the community who have been registered and have received their Ghana card can vouch for you under oath. You will, however, need your digital address code. You will not be allowed to register without it.
Any person who provides false information during this process is liable to prosecution, leading to the payment of a fine and/or serving a jail term.
Watch out for registration details in the media and the national identification team in your community. Make sure you register for your Ghana card.
Ghana card, connectivity, access, and progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Energy Media Group and CH Business Consultant Ghana proudly present the second edition of Ghana Energy Awards under the auspices of the Ministry of Energy and the World Energy Council Ghana. This year's ceremony is under the theme Sustainable Energy for a Ghana Beyond Aid. Date 30th November 2018. Venue Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Time 6:30 p.m. Industry partners Energy Commission, Volta River Authority, Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, We Power Authority, Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Ghana Gas, Petroleum Commission, National Petroleum Authority, and Electricity Company of Ghana. Validation, Mazars, Media Partners, Joe FM, TV3, and Daily Graphic. For sponsorship and tickets, please call 0244 443786 or 0451 555561. This advert is powered by Energy Ghana Magazine. See you there.
But I thought you said your place was ransacked by thieves a short while ago. So how did you manage to replace all your stuff so quickly? Hey, then it must have cost you an arm and a leg.
Nope, it only cost me 80 Ghana cedis.
Oh, Master, how is that possible? 80 Ghana cedis?
Oh, yes.
Must have stopped the concert. Or did the thieves steal your brain as well?
Charlie, my brain is on point. I took a household content policy from Enterprise Insurance, which cost me 80 Ghana cedis a year.
I see.
So after the break-in, they replaced everything.
From as little as 80 Ghana cedis a year, whether you are a tenant or a landlord, you can insure the content of your home against burglary, fire and flood. Sign on to the Enterprise Household Content Policy and secure your home.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. And interest rates in the country are likely to remain unchanged at least for the next 1 month. It follows the decision of the Bank of Ghana to keep the policy rate unchanged at 17%. This was after the Monetary Policy Committee of the bank met last week to review the health of the economy. There's more on the press conference in this report, where the governor also announced that 22 commercial banks have met the minimum capital requirement of 400 million Ghana cedis.
Speaking at the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, the governor noted that the decision to hold the rate was in the right direction, looking at current development in the economy as well as the outlook. The governor also announced that 22 commercial banks have so far met the new capital requirement of 400 million cedis.
That 22 includes two arrangements for merger, which I'm not going to name, but it includes two arrangements for merger. So don't quickly go into trying to extract who is left, because you cannot tell that, okay, there are 30, so if 22 have met, there are 8. That kind of arithmetic will not work. So for those that will not be able to meet it on their own, they will go into merger arrangement, right? The idea is to pool resources together so that they will be able to meet the minimum capital requirement. All the data that I have seen so far tends to show that there is room for them to meet it in the next few weeks.
On the Ghana cedi, the governor argued that everything is being done to stabilize it, but government must also do its part when it comes to the fiscal front.
We have to work on the fundamentals, ensure that the budget execution stays on track in terms of the consolidation effort, ensure that monetary policy rates are well aligned. That is why we are not reducing the policy rate. Those are all part of considerations on where to place the policy rate. So I think that the city will continue to reflect that fundamental improvement in Ghana's macroeconomic fundamentals.
Well, it appears the current tangle between the Ministry of Communications and the Bank of Ghana might not have ended after all. This is because, answering questions from journalists, the government maintained that every institution must respect the provision under the law.
We don't have any issue with the Ministry of Communications. I think that we have a memorandum of understanding which is very clear. They are a network service provider. We approve those who can issue electronic money. So all the mobile money companies have been forced to establish subsidiaries that issue electronic money. And therefore, on that basis, both of us have our roles and we are each staying within our lane. Nobody is trying to drive his friend's lane.
The governor added that everything would be done to support the consolidated bank, despite the current challenges facing its operations.
We had started with a gap of 5.7 billion. This was the initial gap that we identified before setting up that bank. By the time the details came up, that gap had jumped to 7.6 billion. A lot of that reflected underreporting of deposits by beige banks. And I think that we must have patience for them. The bank is liquid, should be able to meet depositor payments going forward. And we are confident that we are standing ready to ensure that that bank is sustainable.
Dr. Anis Addison was, however, optimistic that measures being implemented by government would go a long way to firmly stabilize the economy from next year.
And that was a Business Desk report. In related development, economist with Data Bank Courage Mati has been sharing his thoughts on decision by the Bank of Ghana to hold its key lending rate at 17%.
Well, basically, we noticed that the reference rate, the benchmark rate, is significantly influenced by the policy rate. The interbank rate is also very well aligned with the policy rate. If the policy rate remains unchanged, what you expect is that the reference rate will remain broadly stable at where it is, and the interbank rate should also remain broadly stable at where it is. The implication for cost of credit is that cost of credit should remain broadly unchanged. And in any case, you look at the loan portfolio growth, and it's not been growing significantly because there is a wedge between the pass-through effect, and that wedge is being created by the high NPLs, which is still about 20% right now. So even if you reduce the policy rate, the pass-through is going to be affected, reduced by.
And that is economist with DataBank Financial Services, Courage Mati. About 5,000 small businesses in the country will from next year have access to a 100 million city capital fund to support their operations. Minister for Business Development Ibrahim Awal disclosed this to Joy Business at the second SME and Young CEO Summit in Accra. According to the minister, this forms part of government measures to ensure the small businesses remain competitive on the Ghanaian market.
Access to financing, very important. This year, we supported 1,350 with a lot of money. Next year, we're going to spend 100 million to support 5,000 of them. They're going to support 5,000 next year with 10% or below interest rates. That's next year.
And that's Minister for Business Development Ibrahim Mohammed Awal. And that's all for business on News Night. And I'll be waiting for to hear that song by the Stonebwoy fan, but small remix.
You just have to keep listening to the news because we're going to song, right, Kobna?
Yeah.
Komla? Did I just call you Kobna?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, so we can take some of your comments that have been coming through on our WhatsApp console. This one says, I want to ask if those who are working at the presidency are Ghanaians or foreigners. If they are Ghanaians, are they not citizens in the country to work there? That's from Achu Aram Blauji inside Keta. He sends that one in.
And this one says, good evening. This kind of demolition exercise at Kaswa Road is a good idea. It's from Sena Hateka inside Agonu Bokblete in Akachi South. Well,
the clarification is that there's no demolition exercise happening. They're only sending a caution to those who are living around there to, be aware that the danger is looming on the range.
But it's not safe. It's not safe at all where they are. Well, this Nanado-led government is made of talkatives who think after spewing lies to win political power, they can still hang on to power with lies. The energy minister should spare us the semantics and let Ghanaians have their light. This is coming from Kofi Seidu.
And I'll pick one more. It's also on Doom. So I said government is owing ECG, government is owing car power. The power outages are more financial challenges rather than technical as described by the minister. The minister should keep on doing propaganda, but he will be exposed. Sheikh Nuhu sends that one in from Kumasi. You're still listening to Newsnight. We can do some more stories here. Because tonight, students in all 46 colleges of education are demanding that government addresses the concerns of their lecturers immediately.
Well, the students fear that their academic calendar could be disrupted and the colleges could be closed down due to the strike by the lecturers, because it's been 21 days, Komla, since the Colleges of Education Teachers Association declared a strike over the payment of market premium and book and research allowances.
We know that according to the Colleges of Education Act, any institution which becomes redundant for 21 days has to be closed down.
Yeah.
We'll hear from the students shortly. We'll also hear from CETAG itself and also hear from government. But my colleague Ernest Menu joins us in studio with a statement issued by the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana. What does it say?
So the statement says that students of the 46 public colleges of education reported on their campuses on the 29th of October 2018 to commence the 2018-2019 academic year, only to be informed that CETAG is on strike. Now, we, that's CETAG, were very much confident that government, through the Ministry of Education, would resolve the issue within the shortest possible time for academic work to resume. To our surprise, the issue was not resolved after 2 weeks. Now, we, that's CETAG, released a statement on the 15th of November 2018 calling on government to intervene in bringing back our tutors to the lecture halls. We wish to state that there has not been any response from government since then. The situation has become very unbearable because today marks exactly 21 working days since the strike began. Now, students on campus are not getting tuition and those on out segment are not being supervised. In the wake of all these, we can easily tell that the negative effect this brings to students in the colleges. We therefore resolve that 1, our tutors deserve the same market premium and book and research allowances just as the other tertiary tutors receive. 2, government through the Ministry of Education, the NCTE, the NTC and CETAG should, as a matter of urgency, resolve the issue to bring back our lecturers. We wish to state that if by Wednesday 28th November 2018 8 a.m. CETAG is not in class, we shall duly advise ourselves. Komla have been speaking with some of the students and we can hear them.
We are telling the government that we've been on campus for about 21 days now. Level 300s are out waiting for tutors to supervise them. Level 200s are waiting to be taught the methods, the main reason why they went to college, methods of teaching. Level 100s are on campus waiting to pursue degree in basic education, and no tutor has attended to them as we are speaking for 21 days. We don't care whatever the situation is. We are saying that government should listen to the plight of our tutors so that we bring our tutors back to class, or else we advise us.
In fact, this strike action has really affected us negatively because since 29th October, we have not gotten just a single teacher to be in class to teach. So please, we are pleading on to the government that if indeed what the teachers are demanding is legal, kindly give it to them, because if 2 elephants fight, definitely is the grass and the trees that suffer.
This is the worst strike I've ever seen as a student in this country. Currently, as I talk to you, there's no student on campus who has really said they are going to stay. They are walking out of campus. They're just trooping out. And nothing is stopping them. They are very learned and they know when 21 days are over, they have to go home. We just sleep and eat. What is the difference between we and the people at the house? So they just have to go and nobody's stopping them. So it's very, very sad.
So you heard some of the students there speaking to my colleague Ernest Menu. We are joined on the telephone now by the president of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association, CETAG. Thank you very much, Mr. Prince Obinhima, for joining us. The last time I spoke to you, you mentioned that there was some negotiation going on with government. Hello, Mr. Hima.
Yes, good evening and thanks for the opportunity. I wish to say that we anticipated that there was going to be some negotiation because we had a meeting on the 9th of this month, which ended in a stalemate. Afterwards, there hasn't been any formal contact. There hasn't been any formal meeting. So the situation remains unchanged.
And are you not worried because we've already clocked 21 days and no academic activity, students are idling, no teachers teaching them?
Extremely worried, especially when I listen to tales like what the students recounted. And that these are students we have labored so much to put them where they are now. The students are fully aware of the implications of the situation. That is why we kept alerting the stakeholders that it wasn't a funny situation because the students have it in their handbooks that if they stayed away from lectures for 21 days, they did not qualify to write end of semester exam. And the core business of the students being there is to attend lectures, so they will be able to write exams at the end of the semester. So if they are in school and they know that by what has happened, they will not qualify to write any end of semester exams, what is the reasoning and logic in keeping the students over there? It presupposes that you are keeping them there to create impression that things are going on. When indeed, when we embarked on the strike we've been on the strike for about 21 working days, there hasn't been any clear commitment on behalf of the people, coming clear. So I think that it's not a very good thing it's not very good for anybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obehima. We are glad to be joined on the other telephone line by the PRO of the Ministry of Education, Vincent Ekwesifua. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. Also, the last time we spoke to you, you said you were engaging with the teachers to ensure that this stalemate is resolved. How far with the negotiation?
Well, let me say a very good evening to you and your cherished listeners. Indeed, the last time that we spoke, I indicated to you the commitment on the part of the government to engage CTAC so that they would be able to call off their strike. I remember I also indicated to you that there was a 10-member technical committee that was set up to look into the concerns or the claims made by CTAC. And so if Prince says that there's no commitment on the part of the government to deal with the concerns, first and foremost, that is wrong. The technical committee that was set up includes CTAC themselves. And CTAC themselves were supposed to sit at the negotiation table so that their concerns could be incorporated into the national budget in 2019. In fact, government had initially given them about 20% of the market premium that they themselves were calling for. And so clearly it is CTAC that have acted in bad faith because government has given them a hearing, government has shown that commitment that come to the negotiation table so that we would be able to discuss your issues. My brother, the truth of the matter is that the upgrade of the College of Education to university colleges started just this 29th of October because for the first time in the history and annals of this country where there was a delay in the reopening of the College of Education because of the introduction of the Bachelor of Education, whereby we needed to orient the administrators of College of Education, needed to orient the tutors and the principals actually. For that matter, we had to delay the reopening. And so there have been a lot of things that have gone into this. So
and Mr. Sifwa, clearly, the two of you are on different paths because you say you've done enough. I mean, you've negotiated, you've moved to get their issues resolved, but it appears the teachers have not heard any of this. They are still on strike. It's been 21 days. What happens?
Yes, but the truth is that I am expecting that why are they not at the negotiation table? Because if you are acting in good faith, you should be at the negotiation table and make sure that your concerns are being listened to. And government is ready to listen to you because Fair Wage and Salary Commission is still at the negotiation table. Ministry of Employment and Labour is there. Ministry of Finance is there. Ministry of Education is there. It is only CTAC as an interested party, as a stakeholder, as far as this impasse is concerned, that is not at the negotiation table.
So will the school be shut? I mean, the colleges of education, will they be shut? 21 days gone. No activity, no teaching, no learning.
Well, I think it has been a convention that in instances like this, the school will have to be shut. It is almost imminent that if we don't take care, that is where we might get to. But the truth of the matter is that it doesn't inure to the benefit of government. It doesn't inure to the benefit of CTAC. And again, it doesn't inure to the benefit of the students themselves because the students are willing to, as it were, to learn, and that is why they are in school. Unfortunately, their teachers or tutors are not around. I am expecting that TAG will rather charge their lecturers to go back to the negotiation table so that government will be able to negotiate with them so that we can bring a lasting solution to this issue.
We're grateful, Mr. Vincent Sifwa. He is a spokesperson for the Ministry of Education. Earlier, we heard Prince Obehima, president of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association, CTAG.
And Baba Tando is here. Baba, well, I'm in a state of mourning, you know. For the black queens.
You don't look it.
But I'm wearing black.
But your face doesn't look gloomy.
Oh, you can mourn within. I'm mourning within.
Mourn without.
And I'm actually mourning for Coach Bashir Ford as well.
Did he die?
I mean, I'm really sad for him.
Why?
It looks like those who wanted his downfall have succeeded.
Who wanted his downfall?
What's in sports?
Okay, so anyway, so after the Black Queens were knocked out on Friday, it happened that the Black Maidens also suffered a similar fate on Sunday, which was yesterday. In the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, they got knocked out in the quarterfinal stage after scoring 2 times, drawing 2-2 with Mexico and leaving on penalties 4-2. But afterwards, a lot has been happening, and veteran Ghanaian coach J.E. Sapon is advising the technical directorate of Ghana Football to keep the current crop of Black Maidens players together so they can transition them into the Princesses and subsequently to the Black Queens team. The Maidens were knocked out of the ongoing FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Uruguay after an impressive group stage display which saw them winning 3 matches consecutively. J.E. Sapon, who has managed many local clubs, including Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, believes the maidens team is one for the future.
We have to keep them together and then move them from there, from 17 to 20, 20 to the Queens. As we do this, we still source out for other players who are coming up. A foundation of all this is the schools. It's the schools. From there, get them balls, get a pilot school somewhere. During the holidays, they can go there, attack coaches to them. All over the country. The women's football is played, I know for sure, that the popularity of it is in Accra and Kumasi, or even in Sunyani, perhaps
regional capitals.
Regional capitals. For us, even in the villages, you will see a budding talent playing.
Yep. So that's coming from veteran Ghanaian coach J.E. Sapon. And there's one game for the English Premier League tonight at 8 p.m. Between Burnley and Newcastle United. That'll be a spot for now. Give to Anne Komla.
Thank you, Baba Tando there. Well, away from that, the National Peace Council is expected to meet the chiefs and families of victims of the Fwase police and military brutality that led to the death of 4 people 8 months ago. The brutality follows protest over the relocation of the capital. Now, the committee is heading to the area to investigate the concerns of the people as part of a roadmap for solutions. Now, families of the deceased persons have also resolved not to bury their loved ones until government finds their killers. Meanwhile, another victim, Stephen Insia, who is paralyzed after he was shot in the spine, is battling for his life. Jojo Kobna brings you excerpt from the Joy News Hotline documentary titled As If We Weren't Human.
On 7th February 2018, residents of Fwase in the Ekima Kwauma district of the Ashanti region protested the relocation of district capital Fwase to Kedie. The police and military teams were sent to maintain peace, but it turned tragic as 4 people were killed and many injured. Stephen Insia narrates that on that day, he went to run an errand for his church when he was shot.
So when I was going, there was a crowd, they were making noise, and when I got there, I stood there and called my friend, and he said he's around that area. I said, okay, I'm also here, so you should come and let us settle what he told me. And the police guys came, and the moment they landed, they just make shooting. So I was panicked. I couldn't go back and I couldn't go forward, so I decided to find a place to hide.
Well, we're still staying on police and military brutalities because families of 7 Zongo youth killed by police said they do not want the officers to handle the case anymore. The police claimed the men were armed robbers who engaged officers in a gun battle, but a 5-member investigative committee says it found no evidence to establish that the 7 were armed robbers. And we'll leave with something interesting, somebody who is a huge fan of Stonebwoy has been, singing some of his songs and reacting to some of his, stagecraft and all. But can you sing or you can song?
I do both. I sing and I song.
Okay, I'm a Kwame Eugene fan. I can also song very well.
Okay.
Let's listen to her.
You like Stonebwoy?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What's your favorite song of Stonebwoy?
The Kaya de Mori.
The what?
Kaya de Mori.
That's your favorite song?
And what?